Let's talk about do a little analyzation on a guy who is trending up, a young player in this league. Flip it around here from my second data point. Drake Maye is really on the rise here. Drake, I don't know about man. Whoa, Drake Maye has been elite. That I don't know who greenlit that on the lower third here. Let's slow it down here. But you know what? Maybe they looked at the stats. Maybe the producers looked at the stats and said, "Hey, Harmon, actually believe what you're saying here. Drake Maye is second in success rate right now, behind only the great Daniel Jones, I guess, who is also elite based on the success rate metrics. Not the only thing that's good, though. He is ninth in EPA added on scrambles, is Drake Maye, so the rushing element has been there for him. He is fourth in success rate on pure passing plays alone. So, again, get it done on the ground, get it done through the air. Drake Maye has done it. But, Ray, I think the question here is how much of this is because of the matchups? Because through 4 weeks, we've had a game against the Raiders, we've had a game in Miami against the Dolphins, we've had a game against Pittsburgh, and a game against the Carolina Panthers. I think all four of those defenses aren't very good. The Steelers may be a little bit better than the other three, but they still have areas that you can absolutely pick on. Drake Maye leads the NFL in completion percentage right now. I think the accuracy for Drake Maye has been good. The decision-making has still been a little hit or miss. He'll still sometimes take a bad sack and put the ball in harm's way. We can't do that forever. We got to get those out of his game at some point. But certainly from a fantasy standpoint, he's been a big win as a quarterback right now. And overall, like, he's actually checking the production boxes. So what do we think about Drake Maye's outlook rest of season, and especially as he faces a Bills defense that has its issues, but is probably better than some of those in Week 5?
Drake Maye's been outstanding. Drake Maye's been outstanding. Would I go as far as to say he is elite? Not yet, but he's playing like an elite fantasy football scorer at the position. Like, he's played really well. Do I think that some of it was due to the fact that he faced off against some pretty bad or struggling defenses? Yes, but I also believe that there's this thing called confidence that carries over. And we talked about Derrick Henry and how much he struggled. As great as he's been, it looks like the confidence is shaken. Drake Maye, it looks like his confidence is sky high. And that type of confidence and belief that you can go out there and get it done at the most important position in football, I'm not afraid of this Bills matchup at all. I thought Spencer Rattler did fine enough against Buffalo. Like, you know, they were 15.5-point dogs in that game. Spencer Rattler kept it interesting at times, and Drake Maye is a much superior prospect and a much superior quarterback and player. I think the big development and the thing that is truly helping Maye, it's not even the rushing attack. It is the fact that it looks like there's a connection growing between he and a veteran wide receiver. So if that can continue to happen, he and Diggs continue to click. He's got Hunter Henry at tight end and the threat of his legs. Yeah, Harmon. Drake Maye probably a lot better, and one of those quiet, he's kind of going under the radar because of some other, I mean, we spent 20 minutes talking about Dylan Gabriel, but Drake Maye has been elite-ish so far, and I think it continues, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out. I talked about this earlier this week that Stephon Diggs last week did seem to take a pretty big step forward, ran a season high in terms of route percentage, just over 81% there in week number 4. And it wasn't as if I saw Stephon Diggs do anything, crazy out there. We know that he is a veteran player deeper into his career, but just finding the soft spots in a very admittedly soft Panthers defense, but like that's why you bring in Steph Diggs, is because he helped Josh Allen adjust to being like a consistent starting quarterback. And again, he's not going to be that same elite player here for the Patriots, but Diggs made a comment about he's only about like 5 out of 10 in terms of comfort level in the offense, which Mike Vrabel was get asked about that later this week. And he's like, 5 out of 10, we got to get that higher. So I think that's just like those two personalities together are very interesting to me. As with most things with Stephon Diggs, it's probably not a long-term relationship, but hopefully it burns bright here while it burns. But yeah, that was, I think, a pretty big development here for Drake Maye. That's going to help in terms of the consistency, because then otherwise, Hunter Henry has given them some good moments this year. Your guy, Kayshon Boutte, I think is settled in at that X receiver spot. I don't see him losing his job necessarily. We still have a lot of Mac Hollins. There's like Austin Hooper, the run game is what it is. Kyle Williams did see a bump up in terms of route percentage, just 27%. Pop Douglas, he's out of there. I think they kind of are settling in the room that they want, And so I actually think you could look at that and say that yes, the matchups have been what they have been, but the best could be yet to come for Drake Maye if these guys continue to coalesce around him.
Nailed it. They're trying to figure out what the offense is going to look like. Are we throwing vertically to the X receiver, which you said, Boutte is out there. Pop Douglas was running more in the slot weeks 1, weeks 2, but they're kind of like, you're out of the way now. Diggs, you're going to do that. Like they had to figure out what works well for Drake Maye. And now that I think this is what it is, man. I think it's Diggs in that role. Boutte, you're parked out there. There's going to be a sprinkling of Mac. I think that's how they want to play football. And it's frustrating and annoying for us for fantasy when you've got those ancillary pieces. But we're here talking about Drake Maye. I think it's good for Drake Maye. I think this is really good for Drake Maye. And Will Campbell, I know he played really well last week as well. So you continue to get your left tackle, your number 4 overall pick going. Whether he's elite now or not, like this is somebody that you were 1,000%. Like I'm not even scared of the matchup. I'm playing Drake Maye week in and week out.
Oh, 100%. I also thought this was interesting, a stat from Datarama that, good follow on Twitter, by the way. Patriots running backs through 4 weeks of football, according to Fantasy Points data. Ramondre, 6.5% explosive rushing rate. That's 15th out of 42 running backs. Travion Henderson, 0% explosive rushing rate. That's dead last among running backs. Like, Ramondre, people want him out of there. I know he's got the fumbles, but he's had some moments this year. They're not a consistent rushing game, but that's at least brought like an explosive play potential for Ramondre Stevenson. So I don't think he's going anywhere necessarily. Again, the run game overall needs to be better. I agree that Will Campbell has been really good this year, but probably better pass protector than a run blocker so far. But overall, I've been really impressed with Campbell. This is a situation that I really like what Drake Maye is into right now. I think this is a good spot for him. But let's get into your next data point here, Ray.
Ah, boy. They say you're never wrong. You're just a week early. And I told everybody last week, you don't start any of those Eagles receivers and then they go off. This week, I'm like, start them all. And then it was back to the same old stuff that we kind of saw. And I think Hurts is a problem. I mean, he's a true problem for this wide receiver room. He started off great versus Tampa Bay, 15 for 16, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns to Goddard. But they became only the only game in the last 2 years where a team did not complete a pass in the second half. Like, Matt, I don't know how we can confidently tell people you just start your Eagles receivers every week. Like I don't know what to do. I'm truly at a loss because the player that it doesn't hurt is Hurts. He's fine. He's great.
Yeah.
He's going to score fantasy points regardless. And the damning thing of it all is they're still winning. They're winning in spite of their winning. An awful passing game has distracted all the people from how bad Saquon Barkley has been. Because he's been awful too.
Yeah, right.
He's not gotten into the end zone every damn week. But he's earned good credit. You ran for 3,000 yards last year. We'll let you be sorry, Saquon.
Do whatever you
won't
want.
say anything. Just do whatever you want because he ain't been good either. But the real thing here, man, is what do you do with A.J. Brown, who is now reading from the book of Mark with cryptic tweets, if they don't want me, just release me, let me go, Father. Now you got Smith. Father. I don't know, man. What do you do with them?
Okay, I got a couple more stats to throw your way on this, and I'm sure the producers hate me for bringing up stats that I didn't send in before the show. Okay, so Sam Hoppin pointed this out on Twitter today. The Eagles' offense currently leads the NFL in 3-and-out rate. Nobody is going 3-and-out at a higher rate than the Philadelphia Eagles, who, as you pointed out, are 4-and-0. That has to be like the first time that's happened. I can't imagine there's ever been a team on planet Earth that has gone 3-and-out at the highest rate in the NFL and is unfreaking defeated. Saquon Barkley, I'm glad you brought this up. Saquon Barkley, among running backs with 50-plus carries, there has been 23 of them that have had 50-plus carries this year. Would you like to guess where he ranks in terms of yards per carry among those 23 backs, Ray Garvin?
I'm not going to disrespect him, so he's still inside the top 15. I'm going to go 14th.
Oh no, disrespect away, brother. He's 22nd. Only one worse is Chase Brown at 1.8 yards per carry, 2.6 yards per carry for Saquon Barkley. Now, to your point about the fantasy stuff, I mean, the guy ahead of him is Christian McCaffrey at 2.9. So he's, still smoking on those pass catching duties. But nevertheless, Saquon, long run of 13 yards so far this year. That is a guy that was just ripping off explosives left and right. What's going on in the rushing game? I'm glad that you pointed that out, because that has gone very, very under discussed. And because the box score has been there, it's been fine. But I am very concerned about the Eagles passing game. And you want to know why I'm the most concerned, Ray? A.J. Brown is reading the books, or he's sharing the cryptic tweets. I don't think he's playing that well right now. I watched him. I've been charting him. I think he looks significantly worse than he did last year. And I don't know if that's lingering effects from off-season injuries, or if he's just disengaged and unhappy with what's going on right now. But, he got 9 targets last week, and some of those were not great looking targets from our buddy Jalen Hurts there. And I do think the Bucs defense actually played well. But yeah, they were sticking to him in man coverage in that game. I mean, their corners were in his hip pocket on a lot of these in-breaking routes. And this is the guy that was the best receiver against man coverage that I charted last season. The best receiver against man coverage. And I think he's struggling to separate right now. So this is again, they're 4-0. It's insane. Eagles coaches are having to answer questions about what's wrong with this, what's wrong with that. We're pointing out all these things wrong, and they're 4-0. But yeah, from a fantasy standpoint, I'm seeing multiple problems here in Philadelphia. Which one do you think actually could get fixed here, or where do we go?
I'm being very honest with you. I think the reason why it has been contained so far is because they're 4-0. It's because they're 4-0. Once they if they're losing, and the captain, the guy number 11 with the C on his chest, he's not getting the ball. Devonta Smith, another $100 million man, he's not getting the ball. Saquon's not running well. This feels like a ticking time bomb, because it's not like the running portion of the offense is going well. Saquon is kind of scamming his way to production, because he's catching a few more out of the backfield this year. I think this is a real problem. The one that I think can be fixed the easiest is just try to get A.J. Brown the ball right away, quick game, get it out. I think that can be fixed. But to your point, if he has, which it absolutely is a possibility, taken a little bit of a step back, might there be a reason why he's not able to convert some of these? This situation just seems very, very volatile, and everybody's just trade A.J. Brown. I don't know why the Eagles would do that. I think he's got 2 years left on the deal. He definitely is a threat out there schematically. This is tough. This one is tough. Send him to play with Drake Maye in New England. Reunite him with Mike Vrabel, who didn't want to trade him in the first place. Let's get Drake Maye a proper X. Matt Harmon, get him a proper X to go along with Stephon Diggs, right?
That would be pretty exciting. But to your point, though, I don't think the Eagles have any incentive to do that unless he becomes such a problem, then maybe they think about it and maybe they try to cash in. But while, like we just talked about with Derrick Henry, they try to cash in while the name value is still there. Because here's what's not happening. There's not a bunch of GMs that are dialing up A.J. Brown, week 4 routes and be like, does A.J. Brown still look good? No, some team owner will be like, hey, the Eagles, they're putting A.J. Brown on the trade block. We got an offensive problem. Let's go trade for old A.J. Brown over there. Somebody will do that deal, but I do think he'd have to become a huge problem in order for that to happen. Because I saw a quote from Kevin Patullo, the offense coordinator today, said that again, they're being berated about questions with the passing offense while they're 4-0, which must be super fun to be an Eagles coach right now. We're winning games, people. What are we doing? But Kevin Patullo said that, sometimes for a lot of our plays, I'm paraphrasing here. Yeah, when he's the backside guy, and we don't get to him in the progression, then that's fine, because it means that other guys are in rhythm, which, number one, not true, because nobody's been in rhythm on this team. But also that sends alarm bells to me. Who is just talking about their number one wide receiver is, oh yeah, he's the backside guy. If we get to him in progressions, that sends signals to me that they're not seeing a player that they want to prioritize right
Yeah.
now. Even if, yes, he still dictates coverage and people have to account for him when he's out there, which is true. But that quote, just maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that even seemed a little bit alarm belly to me.
There are reasons to be alarmed. I don't think you're not reading too much into it. Everybody is saying, Matt, here's what I know. Here's what I know, man. And this is a great show. We put in a lot of work here on this data dump program to give the people this content, right? We ain't the only people who see this, right? Like, we're not the only people who know these stats. Somebody in that building knows this as well, right? And they've got to try to do something, because this is a problem, man. This is a problem, and you better believe that somewhere inside of that building, inside of that operation, in the game plan, like, they're trying to figure something out. But man, when you're between the white lines and the X's and O's break down, like, Hurts is gonna do what Hurts has always done, which is run the damn football. Like, he's just gonna run it. Like, I'm gonna run it. I don't see you there. Why are they talking about? There's something going on there, but they're 4-0. So as long as they continue to win, I bet you it'll stay suppressed a little bit, but the rumblings are here.